that I need all of the lights that metal to the brakes. I do this shit for real.
Alright guys, so this is going to be like a business style video here. A lot of people don't really like talking about how they do things with business. I don't really care, to be honest. I think we should all stop trying to cut each other's throats and help one another. There is plenty of business out there, enough for everybody. And honestly, I mean, some shops don't even want to grow. Like, I wouldn't mind being another guy in, or maybe two guys in, but in reality, that's a crew of 4. If we bring 2 more in, that would be plenty for me. I'm not going to get greedy. I'm not going to work myself to death forever. There is no retirement in this life except for what I set for myself and my guys. So with that being said, yeah, we're just going to get into it just a touch. This is going to be like a part 1, and throughout time we'll release a part 2, part 3, and just kind of touching bases on a few things. Now, this video, I'll say this first, this video does not mean it's going to work for you. This video does not mean that I've made it. This video does not mean that I'm a somebody, that I have an ego or anything. This is being completely raw with you all. This is what I've seen that are do's and don'ts. I'm very open at mistakes, at accomplishments, at any of this stuff, to be honest, because there is no tutorial of how to run a custom car shop. I have ran restaurants, I have ran just auto repair places, I've been involved in all kinds of different type of businesses, and there is nothing that can prepare you, honestly, for a custom car shop. And I do mean prepare you at all. The only thing about running another business that can help you as far as the customer employer relationship, or employee relationship, owner relationship, however you want to say it. But as far as running the show, managing the show, financing the show, it's all different. It is 100% all different. Alright, so let's talk about scheduling. For what I see that works best for me is what I would call a floating schedule. I schedule work with what I think I can get done, and then I generally give myself some time ahead. So let's say if it's a 2-day job, I give myself 3 or 4 days. Yes, you may cut yourself out of some money. At the end of the day, you're always going to have a happy customer, because if they get it done, if they get it back in 2 days and you told them 4, that's great. In ways you can kind of offset that time lost, let's say because of that schedule, you scheduled 4 days, you got it done in 2, so now you got what, 2 days of free time? No, you have a non-scheduled or a non-completion date project on the property. That means that project does not have a deadline or anything of the sort. So then with your free time, you can work on that car then. And then obviously, working on the schedule as well. It depends on how busy you are. Again, so with that being said, okay, what happens, you can bring someone in early, that works too. Or you can use it to get caught up on other projects, clean the shop, do paperwork, stuff like that. And then also that floating schedule kind of gives you the leeway to push your car back. Here recently we've been super packed. We've had some ups and downs, some cars that should be done but didn't get done because of added things that not even the customer added, just you can't do it. Like, car is supposed to run and drive, let's say the brake system was already there, we were supposed to drop a motor in it and a fuel system and engine management system, done. Well, then the brakes don't work, and then you find out it's just a crap show. The master's bad, the lines are rusted up, the calipers are full of rust, and that's a real experience that we're dealing with right now. So with that being said, being an older car, parts may not be available at the parts house, so then you got to order them in, and it takes 2 to 3 days, and it's just a mess. So then, depends on how many cars you're doing. Imagine if you had 10 cars on the property and they all had problems like that, and they all set you back 3 days. That's 30 days. 10 times 3 is 30. So that's 30 days your project's on site sets you back. That's a month. I mean, that's 1/12 of your year gone, pushed back because of the delays. It's a huge thing. But in reality, that happens to all these shops every day, no matter how small, no matter how big. I walk into shops that do business with other shops, and they're having the same problems. It just happens. So what works for me is what I call, again, a floating schedule. So when a customer comes in, I always tell them, hey, check in 2 to 3 days before, business days before your scheduled date, to make sure I can accept you in. I try to get back with them within that time frame, but I also relied on them, put it on them as their responsibility. That way I don't feel like a jerk. I don't feel like a loser. I didn't accomplish something I was supposed to by checking in with my own customer. I leave it on them so they can check in with me. It is their car, but whose responsibility is that? Who knows? But I put it on them. That way it's one less thing for me to worry about, because we are a crew of 2. So they check in. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, we're going to have to push you back a week. Generally, you know, they may think it sucks, but generally everyone's always okay with it, because I tell them up front, hey, I'm going to schedule this day, but we are on a floating schedule. I may have to push you back a week. It may be 2. Generally, it's never more than 2. I work late, do whatever I got to do to make it up. So that's how the schedule works. As far as here, I've tried just a normal, you know, all this thing will be done in 2 days. It'll, you know, Wednesday I'll be free. I'll bring in something else on Wednesday, but it ends up just getting me super far behind. I already work a bunch of hours trying to make up for the lack of employees that we don't have. So then it makes me have to work even later, and I do have a daughter, so I need to make time for her, and it's just always a crap show. End up having to work my guts out, work around the clock, and then I find myself being exhausted one day, and then not be able to think thoroughly, efficiently, and I have to come in here every day, and I have to be effective. If not, it puts us behind in some way or some order. So that's just how we do things. I'll touch base with this as well as far as overhead. You know, we all start somewhere. I've been doing this for a very long time. I just now feel as if now that I'm 30, not because I'm 30, it's just the time I've put in. I just feel like I'm starting to really be able to charge what I'm worth. I struggle with that really hard. I try to be very conscious of the customer's schedule, of their budget, of the car, the value of the car. It's not my responsibility, but I have a pretty good relationship with all my customers because of that. But granted, that does put me in a bad position, because it's not my fault that they are going over budget. They're going past what the car is worth. And at the end of the day, honestly, if they're going to keep the car, then I don't care if it's a $20,000 car. If they got $100K in it, but they're happy with it and they're going to die with it, then it's worth it, 100%. So with that being said, something that kind of helps ease my stress, as far as knowing what my overhead is. So I take all my bills for my insurance, my average of utilities, my rent, my payroll, everything. I mean, I break down what we spend a week in supplies, rags, cleaners, anything you can think of. I break all that down, every little dime down. I'm a big numbers guy. And then I break it down within, I go to, I think I do 22 business days. That's a little bit extra, but that gives me some time to make up if I have a mistake. So if you have X amount of overhead and you divide that by 22, that tells you every day you work what you have to make. So if it's $240, then hey, you only got to make $240 for the day to cover everything. So that's you know, that kind of helps ease the mind, and then that can help dictate when you're getting started of what you just have to charge to cover yourself. Because at the end of the day, ain't nobody gonna be here for you other than yourself. Ain't nobody gonna pay your bills other than yourself. So that's, to me, that's really, really important. I know it's hard not to help your buddies and do stuff for free, and because you just love doing it and you just want to help your buddies, but at the end of the day, you know, your time, your work has value. So you need to get paid for that value. It's just kind of how it goes. It's hard. It's hard to be in this business and not become just so hard, so to speak, because you realize as time goes by, you know, you helping somebody, like you giving your buddies a deal, don't really do you nothing. It just don't. Because like I said, at the end of the day, it's you paying your bills, ain't nobody else. You get to, you know, I've put myself in a lot of binds because of that, so that's the reason I say just don't do it. You can give people a discount, you can take care of them, but at the end of the day, if anybody comes to you and says you're too high, even with a discount, then that, you just don't need to, they don't need to do business with them anyways. A friend should never come to you for a price. A friend should come to you to support you. I have multiple friends, so to speak, that are tuners. I try to help everybody. I try to give them a little bit of jobs here and there. I don't just choose one guy. We've got a video of that too. But I just try to share the love, because why not? I can. For one thing, it's my shop. I get to choose what I want to do. As long as all the customers are happy with the tune at the end of the day, then why do I not share the love? I don't have, it's not that I'm not loyal, but like I said, I have multiple friends. Who's to question my loyalty when I have 2 friends that are tuners? It's not my fault. I mean, I just send them jobs and go on with that. I send shops jobs. If I can't get to it soon enough, it would be selfish of me, in my opinion, to hold that job back, especially when a customer's in like dire need. I'm just like, hey man, you're just gonna have to wait. And they just want a good job, so they're scared to go anywhere. And then, so they just wait. Or if I know a shop that can do the equally good job, why would I not send it to them? I'm completely confident in our abilities. Our schedule is wild and packed. Why should I hoard that? There's, that shop that I send that love to, they could return that love one day, or they'll always appreciate it. I've never seen one shop not be appreciative of me sending them a customer. Granted, not every customer is easy to handle, so not every job is a cakewalk. But it's not like I know. And it's also their job as the owner, as the employee, as the builder, to recognize that job being a pain or that customer being a pain. And then they don't have to take the job either, but that job is there for them to do. And if they didn't take it, that's on them. If they took it, then awesome on them. I can go about this forever, but this is part 1. Please comment, let me know what you would like to know, how we do something. Again, I'm not shy, whatever. I can tell you what doesn't work, and what doesn't work for us, what I see other shops doing that doesn't work. But again, this is just how we do things. I'm not saying it's the right way, I'm not saying it's the wrong way, I'm not saying it's the go-to way. I'm not saying we've made it or anything crazy like that. It's just, man, I'm just one guy, one hard worker that's out here trying to make something work, and I've got one loyal employee that's along for the ride with me, and we're just pushing forward and trying to do the best we can do. So again, appreciate everybody. Comment, let me know what you want to see in the bottom, and we'll get with it. Thanks, guys.
Started at the bottom, but I'm next guy. Went from top 5 to the best 5. And if last year left you unimpressed, I hope you know that everything before was just a test drive.